Hey, welcome to a special episode of From Dirt We Grow. I'm Stephanie Kendall, your host, bringing you an unscheduled, unplanned show. The reason for this break in regular schedule is it's all due to a Facebook post I came across yesterday. I scrolled upon a reel by USA Headline News in which a lady was being interviewed. She's talking about the transgender bathroom issue that has recently become a major thing all of a sudden, mostly for the right wing. I don't know if any of you have seen this. It's Let me just say this before we check out the video. Any form of hate directed toward any one individual or towards a group of individuals for their commonality that is what they're being hated for is just wrong. It's morally wrong. It's constitutionally wrong. It's human decency wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. I spent almost the entire day sucked into the comment section going back and forth with many different people who agreed with this woman. And what had me so fired up about this particular post with all the divisional content out there, again amplified by and unabashedly encouraged by the guy that signs executive orders for a living, to purposely keep our attentions on hating each other rather than hating those tearing our lives apart. So it's not just about the fact that it's directed towards the transgender community. For me, that's just who they've set their sights on and aimed their controlling tactics on this time. But for me, this attack on the trans community was the last straw. And what makes it worse is their argument as to why they've got a problem with them is so ridiculous. It would almost be better for them to drop the front and be real for once about their attack on yet another group that's different from them. So, wrong, and just say, hey, yeah, we're really just rebelling against trans people because we're full of hate and we don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. So we're just going to rebel against them like they've done over and over and over again. It's repeating the same cycle. It's the cycle of insanity. In fact, it's the very definition of insanity. Repeating the same thing over again and expecting different results. So, as I said, this time they're targeting the transgender community. Let's just take a listen to the clip.
If you had to give me an option to either get undressed on the street with a bunch of random strange men who aren't trying to force themselves into the women's restroom, or go into the women's restroom full with men who demand to be in there because they say that they're women, I'll take my chances out on the street. You know why? Because the average man is probably safer than whatever freak show is trying to insist that he has the right to come in and watch me undress.
Okay, let me just dismantle this nonsense in about 58 different ways. First of all, I would like to clear up that she is not in there to watch you do a damn thing. This exact thought process is a prime example of the selfish, all about me attitude it takes to be a part of the GOP. Also, why are you undressing in a public restroom? And as far as doing your business, women's restrooms have stalls for privacy. Also, just so you know, the majority of trans women prefer men, so they're not worried about you. All right, now as I'm scrolling through the many comments, it's clear that everyone is very confused about what exactly transgender means. Trans, as in transitioned, means you have now transitioned to the other sex. Everybody was referencing this made up person that they were talking about as him, he, man, blah blah. Men don't belong in the bathroom with women. He belongs in the men's bathroom. The thing is, if they've transitioned, they're now a woman. So they absolutely belong in the women's bathroom. And sticking with this argument of one's safety, look at it flipped. A person dressed like, looks like, and seemingly is a woman for all intents and purposes, they're supposed to walk into the bathroom with a bunch of men. Unfortunately, everyone, everywhere, every day can become a victim of anyone at any time. If a trans woman wanted to cause you harm, she doesn't have to wait until you're both in the bathroom to do it. Here's another one for you. Didn't we, as women, fight for so long for equal rights? We wanted to be viewed as a man's equal rather than the inferior. But now, because it supports your skewed views on a different classification of people, you want to play the helpless female again? If you honestly live in that much fear every day, certain today is the day that you will be someone's victim. There are many ways to ensure you are better prepared to handle this inevitable situation. And on that note, if women are worried about possible threats to their lives, honestly, they should be more concerned with your average hetero white male because they make up about 98% of serial killers and mass shooters and account for close to 70% of rapists in the US. My last and final point is going to be made. It applies to all instances of bigotry. This is the damaging, wildly inaccurate, automatic habit of stereotyping. This is a lazy way of placing blame or justifying your hate. It takes away from individual accountability and allows for the avoidance of critical thinking, which most of you lack. It's more appealing for most of us to take the easier approach than to confront the uncomfortable reality that danger and wrongdoing aren't confined to any one group. They come from individuals, often from places where we least expect. Facing these hard truths requires self reflection, nuance, and a willingness to challenge deeply held beliefs, which is far more difficult than simply reinforcing the biases that make us feel safe or justified. All right, this is the point where I had planned to leave you with some positivity driven words of encouragement interlaced with hope for the future, ending the show. However, before I finish this recording, I let myself get lured back into the video's conversation through replies. Y'all, they're trying to take me off my square. Now, I tend to approach debated topics with an open mind, realizing that there are different views. I try to keep a working knowledge of the facts that support my opinion. After witnessing the sheer volume of aggressive attacks on each other based on political affiliation, and seeing the reckless, cruel eagerness to use insults and mindless judgments rather than facts and diplomacy to voice your opinions, I am left disgusted and ashamed to be part of this debacle of a nation we've become. I mean, trying to keep reason and combat and compassion in your voice against evil and entitled ignorance is futile, and it leaves you feeling exhausted and frustrated. My mind is freaking blown by the depth of people that utterly lack the capacity to think for themselves, use reasoning and common sense to make logical rather than emotional decisions, and choose humanity over hate. And it's worse because the fact that our president has made racism, sexism, bigotry, biases, and hate okay is not okay. I am more determined than ever to fight for democracy and keep our rights intact. I never imagined our country would allow itself to succumb to hostile takeover, but here we are. Sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire, and I'm willing to use evil to overcome evil. Any means necessary, guys. No more playing nice. This is from Dirt We Grow. Thank you for listening.